I did not think it was possible, but Donald Trump's speeches and rallies have hit a new low. Now, we are accustomed to seeing Donald Trump rant for hours on end about sharks, Hannibal Lecter, the size of deceased golfers' putters, to put it lightly, in the case of Arnold Palmer. But not only are we tired of it at this point, but so is MAGA. More often than not, we are seeing huge swaths of Donald Trump's crowds leave in the middle of his speeches. Now, of course, this drives Donald Trump crazy to see his own MAGA cultist walk out of his speech. But what drove him even crazier tonight, and why he has hit a new low, is that MAGA is now leaving his speeches, leaving his rallies before they even begin. Yes, before he even gets up on stage. And it drove Donald Trump to the point of insanity tonight. He is absolutely losing it. And we are going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long, long way. And it really means the world to me. Now, before we get into the disaster that was Donald Trump's rally, I think we need to check out a rally that no one was leaving early, and that was President Obama in North Carolina tonight, calling out Trump right here.
They are decorated warriors who served in battle. They're not woke liberals. They're not even probably Democrats. They are people who don't usually talk about politics, because they believe the military should be outside of politics, upholding the Constitution. The reason they're speaking up now is because they have seen that in Donald Trump's mind, the military does not exist to serve the Constitution or the American people. Donald Trump doesn't see being commander-in-chief as a solemn, sacred responsibility, an oath you take to our precious system of government. Like everything else, he thinks the military exists to do his bidding, to serve his interests. And he has said that if he's elected, he'll use the military to go after, quote, the enemy within, which he, do not boo, vote, which he defines, which he seems to define as anybody who criticizes him or refuses to bend the knee. It offends his ego if people disagree with him. Let me tell you, when I was president, a lot of people disagreed with me. You never heard me say anything remotely like you go after people in a democracy for disagreeing with you, for trying to punish people for disagreeing. This is America. This is a democracy. And unlike the first time, unlike the first go round, Donald Trump won't have people like John Kelly around to stop him, because he's already announced, he's planned to surround himself with people who are just as wacky as he is.
Much like Trump supporters at one of his rallies, we are seeing former Trump officials leave him in droves. Republicans as well, current Republicans, who will be voting for Kamala Harris at rates that we have never seen before. And it is because of these generals, because Donald Trump's former chiefs of staff know how dangerous and deranged he is. They know the threat that he poses. They know that he is a fascist, as much as MAGA wants to deny it and cover up for it. And it's one of the many reasons that Donald Trump is losing it more than ever, because he is driven so crazy by losing Republican support, like he did in the literal sense of people leaving his rally tonight. Now, before we get into that clip of people just fleeing, I want to play a little clip that might explain why.
Big screen.
Including doing Joe Rogan, and we want to just win. So I said, will they understand in Traverse City? Otherwise, I'll be very upset with myself. And I think you will. And it's a Friday night, so we can sit around. We'll do an extra special job when we get there. I think we land in about 2 hours, and we're stepping on the gas. But it's all about winning, and we had to spend some extra time with some people, and lots of people actually. But we are going to do a special performance, and we'll be there. And I think you'll see the plane land and the whole thing. And we really appreciate it. Hope you can stay around. We'll be about 2 hours. I should land around 10 or a little before that. and I appreciate it very much. We're going to have a good time tonight. See you in a little while.
I think this is a perfect encapsulation of the Donald Trump campaign and Donald Trump himself. They are running 3 hours late to his own rally while people sit out in the freezing cold in Michigan. Donald Trump is disorganized. Donald Trump's a mess. We always expect that. But he does not care. He couldn't care less that his supporters will be out in the cold for hours. It doesn't matter to him. He's going to get up on stage and rant and ramble about himself no matter what. And maybe that's why they're so fed up that, as we can see in this clip, they're leaving early. I do not blame that crowd. I certainly wouldn't wait around for Donald Trump. I wouldn't wait any time. I wouldn't take any amount of money to watch him speak at one of his rallies. So it is no surprise that they are leaving early. This is driving Donald Trump crazy. We're going to get into more of that in just a bit. But before we do, the Lincoln Project is out with a new ad about these Trump rallies and how they are turning off Republican voters. And I want to take a look at that right here.
I was pretty much undecided in this race till I heard Donald Trump talking about Arnold Palmer's penis. Now I'm a Trump guy.
He took showers with the other pros. They came out of there. They said, oh, my God.
I wasn't going to vote for Donald Trump until he freaked out at a rally and spent 40 minutes just swaying to music.
I decided to vote for Trump when he talked about the crowd reaction to his debate.
And they corrected me everything I said practically. And I think 9 times or 11 times. And the audience was absolutely, they went crazy.
When I heard his warning about sharks, that was it. I'm going with Trump.
But you know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time.
He's a stable genius.
Bad news, bad things are happening. Mom, I'm sorry.
Donald Trump. Because we want a guy in his 80s who talks about Arnold Palmer's penis, sharks, and whatever the hell he's trying to say.
As we always say on this show, whenever Donald Trump opens his mouth, it is bound to backfire. That is why his handlers have had him cancel so many events. It's why they wouldn't let him debate Kamala Harris or go on 60 Minutes, because they know when he speaks, even when a Fox host is holding his hand and guiding him through an interview, it is bound to backfire and not only turn off Democrats and independents, of course, but Republican voters as well. And it's, again, why so many of Donald Trump's own supporters just can't stand to listen to him speak for more than a couple of minutes without having to leave, as we saw in a video posted by the Kamala Harris campaign about one of Donald Trump's recent rallies that has him really upset. The crowds for Kamala Harris, as we are seeing in Houston, Texas tonight with Beyonce, are bigger than ever. And for Donald Trump, it's the opposite. People are leaving in larger numbers than ever. And it's because of his rhetoric. It is because of the absurdity of the things that come out of his mouth, but it's also because of the angry attacks. Of course, Donald Trump is more aggrieved than ever, more deranged than ever. Now he started calling America garbage, a garbage can for the world. Where's the patriotism there that MAGA proclaims? It's gone. And it really was never there. And that's why Kamala Harris is calling him out right here.
I also do want to address the comment that Donald Trump made about America being the trash can of the world, whatever he said, something along those lines. It's just another example of how he really belittles our country. This is someone who is a former president of the United States, who has a bully pulpit. And this is how he uses it to tell the rest of the world that somehow the United States of America is trash. And I think, again, the President of the United States should be someone who elevates discourse and talks about the best of who we are and invests in the best of who we are. Not someone like Donald Trump who's constantly demeaning and belittling who the American people are. America deserves better. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Ma'am, you're here to talk.
We want a president who loves and cares about this country and wants to make it better. You can have differences of opinion on how to do that. Donald Trump doesn't have differences of opinion. Donald Trump wants to be a dictator. But in presidential elections past, we have seen two candidates with different positions on how they want to, in their minds, improve this country. Now, I don't think I'd be ever siding with Republican policies in any sort, but you would hope that that Republican candidate would want to make America better and care about this country. That is not the case in Donald Trump. He only ever cares about himself. And he is so caught up in that and clearly very angered by his crowds being so small. And that's why he's lying like this at his rallies.
Speech in Las Vegas, 29,000 people. It was an arena. We set the arena record. That was a big deal arena, too. We set the record, but it was an amazing crowd.
That arena that Donald Trump was referring to in Las Vegas that had 29,000 people in it, it seats 19,000, actually. So, first of all, not possible unless Donald Trump wanted to break even more laws. And second of all, it wasn't full. He is driven so crazy by the small size of his rallies, by his crowds leaving early. He is an absolute mess, filled with grievances that we do not need in the Oval Office. We need someone focused on us, not focused on themselves. As Kamala Harris said, Donald Trump has an enemies list. She has a checklist of things to do to help this country. That's who I'm voting for, and that's who we're going to be talking about on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.